The world is loud. It pulls, provokes, consumes. It wants your reaction, your anger, your desire, your collapse. Most men live like open gates. Every word enters, every impulse rules, every storm moves them. But there exists another kind of man, one who does not shake, one who is not pulled, one who remains centered while the world burns around him. He is not numb, he is forged. This is not motivation, this is an order. 6 principles, 1 outcome, to remain unaffected. Most men believe strength is aggression. They think power is volume, dominance, reaction, conquest. They mistake impulse for authority and noise for control. But the man who reacts is already defeated. The man who explodes has already surrendered his throne. True strength is the ability to remain still while provoked, clear while surrounded by chaos, steady while others drown in emotion. The unaffected man is not passive, he is sovereign. He watches storms without kneeling to them. He feels pressure without obeying it. Pain, temptation, insult, praise, all become the same test. Who holds command of your inner state? Until you can answer that, you are not free. You are occupied territory. Every man is ruled by something: desire, fear, comfort, approval, distraction. If you do not choose your master, the world will assign one to you. The unaffected man begins with an inner oath, a vow made in silence, without witnesses, without applause. This vow is not a goal, it is an identity, a line drawn inside the soul that says, "I command myself." From this point forward, impulse is questioned, emotion is examined, temptation is delayed, reaction is measured. Self-command is not repression, it is ownership. The man who owns himself cannot be owned by trends, by crowds, by pleasure, by outrage, or by despair. He does not need to announce discipline. His presence reveals it. He moves slowly in a hurried world. He speaks carefully in a noisy one. He chooses rather than drifts. Most men live like cities without walls. Every passing force enters freely. News, opinions, lust, resentment, vanity, anxiety, all walk through the gates unchecked. The inner oath builds the first wall, not to shut out life, but to decide what deserves entry. This is the foundation of remaining unaffected. Without self-command, every principle collapses. With it, even chaos becomes training ground. This is where the order begins, not in the body, not in the world, but in the throne room of your own mind. Once a man commands himself, he must decide what law he serves. This is honor, not reputation, not image, not the praise of men or the approval of crowds. Honor is an inner code that does not bend when no one is watching. It is the quiet refusal to betray your own standard. A man without honor negotiates with himself. He excuses weakness. He justifies cowardice. He trades long-term respect for short-term comfort. The unaffected man does not bargain with his code. His word has weight. His yes means yes. His no is final. This is why his presence feels solid, because it rests on something unmovable. From honor come boundaries. A man of principle decides what he allows near his mind, his body, his time, and his future. He does not tolerate constant disrespect. He does not absorb endless negativity. He does not chase attention or accept manipulation. Boundaries are not cruelty. They are clarity. They reveal self-respect. And self-respect shapes how he treats women, not as idols to worship, not as objects to use, but as human beings met with dignity, restraint, and steady strength. Respect toward others is the visible edge of inner order. No man builds this alone. Brotherhood is the final blade of this principle. A man is sharpened by other men who live by oath, not by impulse. He chooses his circle carefully. Not many, just true. Men who call him higher, not lower. Men who remind him of his vow when the world tries to soften it. This is the silent alliance of those who refuse to be broken by the age. If you feel these words strike something old and buried in you, it is because you were never meant to live without structure. A 60-day rite of discipline and virtue awaits those ready to rebuild themselves. Enter it, claim it, begin it. Link pinned in the first comment. A man who has taken his oath, shaped his honor, and drawn his boundaries must now fortify the one place the world truly seeks to conquer: his attention. The modern age is not built to enslave bodies, it is built to occupy minds. Endless noise, endless content, endless outrage, endless temptation. Most men live with doors permanently open, their thoughts pulled in every direction, their inner state owned by whatever appears next on a screen. The unaffected man builds a fortress inside. He decides when to receive input and when to close the gates. He trains silence until it becomes familiar. He learns to sit without reaching, to walk without checking, to be alone without escaping. This is not isolation. It is sovereignty. Silence is his sharpening stone. In silence, he hears his real thoughts, not the thoughts implanted by crowds. In silence, he detects fear before it grows, desire before it rules, anger before it erupts. He does not fear his inner world because he has learned to stand inside it without flinching. Emotional storms still come, but they strike walls, not open fields. Insults do not define him. Praise does not inflate him. Crisis does not scatter him. He remains present, observant, slow to speak, and quick to understand. This is the mental fortress, not the absence of feeling, but mastery over it. The world cannot affect what it cannot enter, and the mind that chooses its own gates cannot be conquered from the outside. A fortress is useless if the man inside it never leaves its gates. Strength that hides becomes weakness. The unaffected man is not merely stable, he is willing to stand where others retreat. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to let fear command the will. Every age produces its tests: ridicule, pressure, temptation to conform, invitations to abandon principle for acceptance. Most men fold quietly, not because they are evil, but because they are untrained. They prefer comfort over consequence, safety over truth, silence over confrontation. But the man of oath does not seek conflict, nor does he flee it. When a line must be drawn, he draws it. When a boundary must be defended, he defends it. When truth must be spoken, he speaks it without cruelty and without apology. This moral courage begins inward. He confronts his own excuses. He names his laziness. He admits his weakness. He does not romanticize his flaws or hide behind humor. He stands before himself as judge and witness. Only then can he stand before others with clarity. He does not manipulate. He does not posture. He does not threaten. His presence carries weight because it is backed by inner consistency. Men like this are rare. That is why they are noticed, not for noise, but for gravity. A legacy is not built by men who avoid discomfort. It is built by men who walk toward it deliberately. The unaffected man understands this. Comfort is temporary, but character echoes beyond his lifetime. Every disciplined man, if he continues long enough on this path, eventually confronts a question beneath all others. What is the highest standard a man can embody? Not what is convenient, not what is admired, but what is truly unbreakable. Across centuries, across cultures, across philosophies, one figure quietly stands at the center of that search. Not as religion, not as institution, but as prototype. A man who did not react to insult, did not bend under threat, did not abandon truth to preserve comfort, did not return violence for violence, yet carried authority that shook empires. a man whose strength was restraint, whose power was self-command, whose courage was sacrifice, whose honor was absolute alignment between word and action. Many men reach this realization before they know his name. They sense that ultimate masculinity is not domination, but sovereignty over self. Not indulgence, but mastery. Not ego, but purpose. And when they finally encounter the story of Jesus, they recognize something familiar. Not a distant deity, but the completed image of the oath they have been carving into their own bones. The backbone behind every true code, the silent north on every moral compass. This is not sermon, it is trajectory. When a man pursues unshakable strength long enough, he inevitably finds the same summit. Some climb it knowingly, some climb it without realizing its name. But the peak remains the same. A man who remains unaffected, because nothing outside him is stronger than what has been forged within. Philosophy without action is decoration. To remain unaffected, your days must reflect your oath. Begin each morning in silence before the world speaks into you. Recall your inner vow. Decide the single behavior you will not compromise today. Train the body daily, not for appearance, but to remind the mind that comfort is optional. Speak less and mean more. Let your words carry consequence. Remove sources of constant distraction that fracture attention. If something owns your focus, it owns part of you. Reclaim it. Establish boundaries without explanation or aggression. Clarity needs no justification. Choose your brothers carefully. Seek men who challenge your discipline, not flatter your ego. Treat women with steady respect, not pursuit or submission. A man who commands himself never needs to chase validation. When you fail, and you will, do not dramatize it. Observe, adjust, return to the oath. The unaffected man is not the one who never falls. He is the one who never negotiates surrender. Over weeks, your presence will change. Fewer reactions, fewer emotional swings, less noise, more gravity. This is the visible proof of inner order, not words, not claims, but a man who stands still while the world moves around him. The age you live in will never stop testing you. It will offer comfort, outrage, pleasure, distraction, fear, and approval, all designed to pull you off center. Most men will spend their lives reacting, explaining, defending, collapsing, rebuilding, and collapsing again. But a few will choose a different path. They will take the oath, shape the code, build the walls, sharpen the mind, stand when others bend, and in time, they will become rare. Men who do not shake, men who do not chase, men who do not break. This is not superiority, it is responsibility. Because when storms come, families look for them. When chaos spreads, others stabilize around them. When meaning disappears, they carry it quietly in their posture, their speech, their restraint. The world is starving for such men, though it mocks them when they appear. Remain unaffected, not by escaping the world, but by mastering yourself so completely that the world cannot move you.